Hey everyone, welcome to our finale edition of AGT Time. Jay, we have crowned a winner, and it is AGT commenter for our fantasy league.
What you all wanted to tune into here was right
Uh,
off the top,
Cody Patterson here, along with.
along with Jay Bach. Cody, this has been a really fun season. I mean, obviously, the way that the season ended up turned out to be quite a fun, uh, just whirlwind of events for you and me to kind of experience the AGT live of it all and the live AGT of it all. And we will talk about that in the future. But we've got results, man.
We do have results, so we are live. Jay, we are live on our YouTube channel. We are should be live on our Twitter feed. We literally just watched the finale. I know West Coast. I'm on the West Coast right now. West Coasters, I'm really sorry. We are doing this before you get a chance to watch it. Uh, but it was great. This is something that we're really excited.
It'll be ready for you when you are done watching it. Come back and
Yes,
see our reactions.
yes, absolutely.
Well, Cody, let's jump into this. We don't need to spend a lot of time bantering here. There's exciting news, exciting things to talk about. So let's get the business done. You can always reach us at AGT Time Pod. That is going to be our Twitter handle where Cody live tweets the episodes all season long. That is where you will find us on Instagram. That's where Christy Sellas found us, was at AGT Time Pod, and reached out to us that way. You all can find us at AGT Time Pod. That is in fact even our Gmail address at or Gmail. Sorry, agttimepod at gmail.com. Cody is available if you want to reach out to Cody himself at Cody L. Patterson. And I am at One Man Bander if you want to reach out to me. But Cody, uh, in the past we've done these finale episodes a little bit different than we've done the traditional episodes. Instead of going chronologically, shall we give the results as we go through this episode?
Yes. So the last couple of seasons, what we typically do for the finale is as Jay explained, we go through them in the they were eliminated. Instead of doing a recap, how and the winner. Y'all don't want to hear that. You want to hear how they were eliminated, and that way we talk about the winner, about their amazing act at the very end.
Okay. So let's do that then. The very first result that we got at the very end of the results show, just tonight, uh, we had Mike E. Winfield as our first eliminated axe. I don't think that means he was necessarily the worst, but he was not the top half, anyhow.
No, I mean I actually enjoyed Mike E. Winfield's act. I thought it was really good. I've been a fan of Mike E. Winfield since the beginning. I love his routine. I love um, what is it? It's Stepman. Stepman. We were introduced to Real Kid this week.
Yep.
I love that he calls back to his previous routines. He's tied all of his routines together. It doesn't feel like it's scripted. I mean, I guess it's scripted, but it doesn't feel like it's scripted. It's not like the other comedians that we've seen. It's very natural. It's like he's in conversation with us. I've really enjoyed Mikey Winfield.
Yeah, yeah. In his act itself, he says, since being on AGT, people are recognizing me. They come up to me and they're like, you're, oh man, I'm not good with names." And he's like, "Well, obviously, it's not the other way around. Nobody's going to roll up to you and say, 'I don't recognize you, but you're Mike E. Winfield. I'm good with names,'" which is just a hilarious scene that he set there. I thought that was pretty humorous. Says people are telling him that he's so happy. He's like, no, I just have big teeth. People think that I'm happy because my teeth are big. They think I'm smiling all the time. It's just uncomfortable to close my mouth. He says, I hate windy days. My gums get dry. Then he goes into his jokes about his family, about Stepman and his biological son, Real Kid, how the doctors were surprised, how Real Kid, when he was born, he looks just like Mikey Winfield. Joked that he cut his own umbilical cord with his teeth. So tying it back to the teeth jokes. All around a really good set. I enjoyed Mikey Winfield all season long, just like you did. Anything else you want to say before we talk about Mike E. Winfield's judges' comments?
No, it's just that he's really funny. I like that Howie, you're going to talk about this in a moment. I like how he's invited him to go perform with him. Real funny guy, real entertaining. I think he's gone up on the list. I'm not going to say he's like top on my comedian list, but he's way up there. I mean, Preacher's up there. There's some others that are way up on that list, but he's now at least in the top echelon for me when it comes to the stand-up comedians on AGT.
Yeah, very good. Cody, I am just now realizing I never took the time to rank the acts last night.
Okay.
So I apologize for that. I can tell you that Minnesota Ryan had him at number 7. Says Mike exceeded my expectations with his best performance of the season in the finale. His material's great. His timing's perfect. His personality alone makes you want to smile. He isn't the best comedian, like you were saying. He's not the best comedian I've ever seen, which is why his ranking is where it is, but he's deserving of performing in these finals. So he's got him 7th, very middle of the pack.
Yeah, I had him at number 4 in my list. I had him pretty high, and when you kind of hear who my top 3 are, I think it's going to make a little more sense. It's a shame that he didn't make it into the top 5. I think having a comedian in the top 5, similar to Ryan Niemiller and Tom Cotter would have been real exciting to see.
It is really hard for a comedian to win this show, exceedingly hard. And I think every season is proving that again and again. Like there's no taking away from the talent. It's just such a difficult thing for people to recognize what an impressive talent it is to show up on the in the finals and to garner votes to be a winner. Like it's tough. It's tough to be a comedian on Got Talent.
Yeah, it's Preacher do it real. Tom Cotter, Ryan Niemiller, they've all done it real well. Season 15, we didn't have any comedians, at least, period. It's just because, we know that we need that audience in order to get feedback for their sets. So that kind of made sense. You're right. It's hard for them to get up there. The kind of comedian does. It's for me, it's an exciting time.
Yes. Podcast friend Calvin says Mike E. Winfield was really funny set with some nice callbacks that I enjoy. Not too much to say, just really funny. Like you were saying, he has threads that run from his auditions through the qualifiers into the finals. It's been a really his body of work is really impressive and maybe even more enjoyable than any one of the acts alone. So Calvin had him ranked number 5. So right on that bubble of top 5 too. Yeah.
Now, Jay, we're live, so we've now got people showing up and some comments coming in on the comments. So one of our followers, AGT District, talked about Drew Lynch was the closest a comedian has ever gotten to winning the show, votes-wise. I would argue Tom Cotter should have actually won the show if it weren't for some stinking dogs. But I digress on that.
Okay. All right. Very good. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the chat. Cody, are we ready for our second result of the night?
Yes. Let's get into
the second act that is not in the top 5 is Nicholas Ribbs. For Nicholas Ribbs, I didn't talk judges' comments here for. for Mike E. Winfield. Let me jump to that here. Simon said, "You did it. Whatever you needed to do, you just did because you were so funny. You've got this way of being so casual, but not. You're also laser focused and sharp, and you're so funny on top of it. This was magic, and you really gave yourself a shot at winning the show." Phew. Howie says, "I love your voice, but you come out here like a superstar. The only direction is up, and I still want you to work with me." So he's still inviting him to open for him. Heidi says, "The story about your family is like a sitcom. Maybe that's what's next. You have an amazing look. You're funny. We love you." Sophia says, "You look like a star. You're amazing and relatable. I want to hang out with you. Do you want to be my friend?" So, yeah, I think that goes to say, like, he is really just so likable, lovable. Just you want him to be a part of your life. So, good comments from the judges. They were pretty pleased with Mike E. Winfield's performance. All right, we were just about to talk about Nicholas Ribbs here. He is our French magician. He tells us that in his performance, he pulls out a picture, says, "My daughter at 7 years old drew this picture for me, and I thought, what if this picture came to life?" And then it comes to life. And he's got a paintbrush that's red on one side and not painted on the other side, and so he can make this illusion like it's turning color or not by flipping the flipping it over. He paints a cup on the screen, some roses. The roses he puts in the cup. He creates some butterflies and a giant heart. The last thing that happens with arms that aren't actually his, they're fake projected arms. He
You don't
makes
say.
things move around. Like in the actual episode, Nicholas Ribbs followed Christy Sellers. And it's like, here's Christy Sellers interacting with this enormous screen in such a interesting, intricate way. This doesn't even compare to that. Like, there's some cool effects, but overall, I just don't think it's very good magic. It's kind of fun. I'm not really impressed by it. What were your thoughts on Nicholas Ribbs?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was very good. I thought he dropped since the last performance. I really enjoyed his auditions performance. I thought it was exciting. I liked the projection. I like what he was doing with interacting real objects into virtual objects. Real exciting. Then we get to the qualifiers. It seemed about the same. It seemed pretty good, but it was all right. But this time it seemed like it was very lacking. It wasn't exciting. It was not entertaining. Yeah, we just seen Christy perform her routine, so we're excited about that. And then this was almost like we took a step back from it.
Yeah.
So I just didn't feel it was very good. The music, it kind of put me to sleep. It just, I don't know, wasn't very exciting.
Yeah. I haven't been very high on Nicholas Ribbs' style of magic. I love the multimedia aspect of it. I just don't think it's executed very well. So he's got to continue to work on that execution. Let's see. Minnesota Ryan had Nicholas Ribbs his 9th ranked act. He says, "I like the sentiment of the performance. Something felt a little off in the performance compared to his previous performances. Tricks were similar, if not even simpler than his past performance. And he didn't seem as clean as he was in the past. He's a great magician, but it wasn't his night. In my opinion, this was his worst performance of the season." Out of his 3 whole performances.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. I kind of agree with that. I didn't feel it was. Again, I didn't feel it was very exciting. I had him dead last in my rankings, and I didn't once think about putting anyone else above him the rest of the night.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
anyone. I'm sorry, anyone. Sorry, anyone below him the rest of the night.
Right. Calvin also had him 11th of 11. Says, "Well, not bad. It wasn't nearly as good as his last performance. The very beginning was the best part." So yeah, I'm just feeling like he didn't belong in the finale. I think there's other acts that I would have liked to have seen. But I guess I don't want to say doesn't belong, but I wanted so much more. Maybe is where I want to go with it.
Yeah, and we've seen other things similar to this because we saw, we've seen sand art. Again, we've seen projection type acts. So it does fit into AGT. It's very creative. Uh, he's doing the same type of magic that other magicians that people really like. He's doing that, but then he's interacting with virtual objects as well as material objects. So he's kind of bringing that new aspect in. It just didn't seem like this performance was up to the finals performances that all the other acts were doing. Well,
Yeah.
all but one, and we'll get to that act.
Well, okay. All right. Heidi says, you really are different. I asked you to show us more personality, tell us about your family, and you did that. You're also inventing a different kind of magic we've never seen before, and I'm a huge fan. Sophia says, I'm so glad you decided to follow your dream. I feel like the world needed and deserved to experience your magic. Thank you. Simon says, tonight, everybody has to be better than the performance we saw before. I don't think that was. Part of the reason is the music reminded me of my aunt playing the piano after lunch. it didn't help the story. I'm a little bit let down.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really funny comment. And then Howie says, I've never heard my aunt play piano after lunch, so I don't know what he's talking about. You make the impossible look possible. That was amazing. So judges were pretty taken with it. I'm not as taken. As Howie at least. Simon is onto something that the performance was left some things lacking.
Yeah, I mean, it's just agreed. So that's all I really
All
got
right.
for Nicholas Ribs.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
getting through some of the chaff here to get to the good parts. So
Yeah.
the third act that's going to be eliminated here is going to be my off of my draft board. We've got Celia Munoz, not in the top 5. She is a real special ventriloquist talent. Really enjoyed her on
Yeah.
enjoyed her on my screen. Uh, Let me go up to her notes here because we're doing these out of order. Things are a little bit little bit screwy for me. So for her act, she's not going to. Her first act, she was doing like a little radio that she did the voices coming out of. Her second act, she was at a drive-in movie theater, and we saw her singing along with that. This time, she's going to channel the spirit of the greatest opera singer of all time, Maria Maripal. And Maria is going to start to sing, and the table raises and lowers, and the music on her music stand, the pages flip. Celia, while all of this is happening, is going to take a bite of an apple while Maria is singing, or appears to be singing in her screen. And then there's a phone call from her friend Manolo. He's going to ask again about Sofia Vergara. Manolo's really interested in Sofia Vergara. That's a funny like through line, right? We talked about how Mike E. Winfield has the callbacks. She is also making these callbacks. I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
While she's still singing, Celia is going to pour herself a shot. She's going to drink it while singing again. The spirit of Maria appears to overtake her body, and she sings opera with her mouth open now. And then she's going to crash down like she's passed out or overtaken or whatever in the chair. I thought this was fun. It's all the wonderful things that Celia does: the eating, the drinking, the doing impossible things with her mouth and face while singing beautifully, very, very clearly. I'm not a opera singer. I'm barely call myself a trained singer, and the tone that she can produce with her mouth as closed as it is just really, really impressive. And I love her for it. I love that she has some stagecraft to her performance. It's not just the talent, but she's finding different ways to express this talent without puppets. So very high praise from me for Celia. What did you think of Celia, Cody?
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I like the creativity of it. I thought the stage and the production, they went the extra mile for her to create this almost like Miss Leota atmosphere from like the Haunted Mansion in Disney World. I really like that. Bringing in the this old opera singer and channeling the spirits and just doing what Celia Munoz does. Bringing in the radio and drinking or singing while drinking, just throwing her voice all over the place. Very creative. I thought this was better than her qualifiers. I really like the qualifiers because it was the nice tribute to Olivia Newton-John sitting in the pickup truck and singing the song from Grease. But I really like the creativity as well as the stage production of this one. I thought it was great that they did that for her as the wild card. I voted for her as the wild card to get into this, so I was excited to see her in this. Very, very original. So exciting. Very, very good.
Very good. Cody, where did you have Celia ranked?
I had Celia ranked at 7, though. I just felt there were other acts that did better. I loved her act, but I just thought there were other acts that did better.
Okay. Let's see. Minnesota Ryan had her number 6. Says Celia finally figured out how to make her act on in a stage show, and it worked. It was quirky and strange, but equally captivating and unique. She was the best choice to be a wild card, and she gave it her best shot with the best performance of the season. So thank you, Minnesota Ryan. I think that's some pretty good praise. Additionally, we've got our notes from what's his name?
From Calvin?
From Calvin. Thank you. I
Yeah.
was trying to find the notes and think at the same time. It's really hard. Okay. Calvin had her ranked clear up at number 4. So inside the top 5. Calvin said she should never have been eliminated in the first place. I loved this performance. Not only was the singing great, the entire set was funny and well written. Would be really glad if she made the top 5. So sorry, Calvin. You can't be glad about that, I guess. She did not make the top 5. I think I've said what I need to say. Overall, this was a really, really fun performance. Simon said, Celia, the only downside is how smug Sophia is on my right. This was so much better than what you did a couple weeks ago. It was clever, frightening, funny, creative, and genius. Sophia says, I'm so glad America brought you back. You are comedy, opera, ventriloquist. It's so fun and complete. Howie says, you're like a classic vaudeville performer. You create the scenes and the magic, and there's comedy, and the only thing you don't have is puppets, and that's what makes you special. Heidi says, you're a rare talent. I'm so glad you have this second chance. So pretty good stuff from the judges. They were pleased to see her again. The fact that she was a wild card and brought back in gave me a little hesitation. I wasn't sure that she was going to be able to make top 2 after she failed to make top 2 in her qualifying round. But
yeah,
still just super glad we got to see another really fun performance from Celia. The third eliminated, well, I guess the fourth eliminated acts. We're moving on here. The fourth eliminated act after Celia Munoz was eliminated is Yu Ho-jin. He's our Asian magician. There's things that he can do to improve his stage show, but overall, I thought he was an awfully talented, awfully likable magician. It was a pretty dark set that he was working on, and well, I guess it kind of started a little just funky. We started with Simon giving him a Post-it note with his name, and he puts it down on the table. It sort of disappears, and it doesn't really ever come back into play until he just sort of just grabs it again. So that was kind of weird. His act, he's got a book that's on the front of it. It says AGT Idea Notes, and he opens it to a page. He rips the page out. The page disappears. Can't really tell what the trick was supposed to be because it's so dark around his table, around in front of him. The trick wasn't impressive because I couldn't see the trick. I guess is kind of how it felt to me. He took another page out of this book. A picture of a cup is on it. He turns it into an actual cup. He takes that cup, crumples it up a little bit, just balances it on the edge of the table. He produces a deck of cards. They're blank cards, but wait, they're not blank cards. There has the judge's pictures on them, and those get turned into the letters DREAM, DREAM. He takes that card box, crumples it up, sticks it on top of the crumpled cup. He takes another page that has a picture of an airplane on it, brings it down towards this very dark table. Can't really tell what's happening, but then there's a paper airplane. And he unfolds that paper airplane, and on it is a outline of the USA with the text "My Dream 9/13/22" to I guess win America's Got Talent. He folds it, he shapes it, balances it on top of the playing card box, and then finally he takes this picture of Simon. He turns it into that post-it note that he is going to crumple up and place on top of the balanced pile of stuff on the edge of the table. He closes the book and he's pointing at this pile of trash, and he shines a light on the pile of trash. He turns it so it looks like the silhouette of the Statue of Liberty. I've seen better magic. I mean, not. I haven't seen better magic done by Nicholas Ribbs, but I've seen better magic.
Yeah.
This was fine. It was so dark that we couldn't really see what was going on, which really kind of I think hurt his performance. And additionally, this is close-up magic. It's not really a big stage show. And I guess similar things could be said about Nicholas Ribbs. This isn't big stage magic. This is up-close, personal, intimate magic, and it just didn't have a lot of punch. I felt it left some things lacking. What are your thoughts on you this season and this performance?
I was a little disappointed in this. I was very bored by it. I say disappointed. I've not been a big fan of his at all this season. I was bored by this. We had the thing with Simon at the beginning where he had him sign the thing and then bring it up, and then there was no payoff for that. I was totally disappointed in that, and then I didn't know where we were going. I did like that he built up to something, and then we had the Statue of Liberty, which was kind of cool, but there was just a very, I'm just going to say, very boring. It wasn't very interesting at all, just like Nicholas Ribbs. I was very disappointed in our two magicians this evening. No, wow factor at all, and it was very similar to what he did in his auditions where he had his frame and he's playing with a feather, and we were expecting something big and dramatic, and it just never happened. And that's all. That's all there kind of was.
Okay. Let's talk judges' comments or viewers' comments. Where did Minnesota Ryan have him ranked? Clear down here at number... Where is it? Oh, he had him clear up at number 4. Okay.
Oh, right. Wow.
Minnesota Ryan. The difference between his audition and the finale performance is shocking to me. He's an incredibly talented and captivating magician, but don't tell him that, since then he will be worse. His best performance of the season when it mattered. Could he be the next Dustin Tavella? As in a not very good magician who wins? Sorry, Dustin. Sorry, you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no, that was my side comment as the not very good magician who wins.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. So, number 4 from Minnesota Ryan, and then we've got him at number 8. I liked it more than Nicholas, but still not the best we've seen. I liked the ending reveal, but not as good as the previous performance. So, bottom half then for.
Okay.
Why can't I think of his name? Whose
Calvin?
comment is that?
Sorry, Calvin. We apologize,
Louise.
Calvin.
Cody threw me for a loop here, having me read all your guys' comments.
I did. I'm sorry about that. Yes. That's on me. I had him at number 10. I had both magicians at the very bottom. Was not impressed with either of them tonight. No wow factor, no excitement. Um, it was just that neither one was a finals performance.
Yeah, yeah. Not big stage shows, not big tricks, nothing that was just a wow punch to the face. It was just fine magic.
Yeah.
All right. I've written Calvin's name on a piece of paper here, so now I will look at it and I will see that it says Calvin, and I will not forget your name anymore. How embarrassing. Okay. Did we do judges' comments for Calvin?
I I don't know
No.
if you did. Yeah, I don't know if you did.
Okay. Heidi says, "You are amazing. Your act is elegant and full of surprises and has the wow factor. You did bring it tonight." Sophia says, "Incredible. It feels like 30 tricks in 3 minutes. To me, you are not a magician. You are magical." Which I think is kind of the same thing. Simon says, "I'm happy I helped you and said no on purpose because in my mind, I envisioned you in the final." So Simon, again, taking credit for telling somebody to get better and then they do. You are a brilliant showman. You're very classy, such a gentleman, and you're a fighter. You got better and better and better. Howie says, "You showed us the magic of recycling. It's beautiful." Maybe a message that didn't land with everyone. You're so elegant. You're so beautiful. You're a star. The beauty in what you talk about and your story. You're my favorite magician this season. So maybe not like the highest praise. You know, they weren't peeing themselves like they do over some of the acts, but I think overall enjoyed Yu's performance.
Yeah. Real quick, Jay. So we had someone ask us. I'm guessing he's asking about Celia. Roy asked, "How did you think her singing voice compared to Darcy Lynn?"
Oh, good question. Uh, I mean, Celia is literally a classically trained opera singer. I think she is, as far as like being able to rank singers, they're very different. But Celia is a better singer than Darcy Lynn. Watching the results show tonight and seeing Darcy Lynn on the screen again is like, oh, she's so much more mature than she was when she won, right? And part of what made me fall in love with her was how young and just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed she was. That youth. She's grown out of it a little bit, and she's also become a better ventriloquist as she's grown and practiced and gotten better. But yeah, I guess Celia's the better singer.
Yeah, she's like you said, more classically trained. She's been singing probably for a lot longer than Darcy Lynn has. Uh, agree with that. I think they're both fantastic. They're both great, and obviously Darcy Lynn's a winner of AGT. She's got the puppets, her bunny, Petunia. So all of that's great.
Yep.
But yeah, if you put the two side by side, I'd probably give the edge to Celia. But again, both great.
Both are super fantastic.
Yeah.
It's not just about her singing voice, right? It's
Right.
about her skills and their talents and who they're up against and everything else. Darcy Lynn was able to win her season with a not as good singing voice because she brings different things to the table. So that's I guess what I can say about it. So.
Yeah. So,
Good question. Thanks. Cody, we have the fifth result of the night. We're going to eliminate 2 of the 3 remaining acts and put one of them into the top 5. I guess I've got Sarah James as one of these 2 eliminated, so we can talk about Sarah James for a moment.
Okay.
Her performance, she is. Let me get there. Sorry. She's going to sing a song called. She's number 9 here. Okay. Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. Are you familiar with this song?
Yes, Jay. Are you not familiar with this song?
Very not.
Okay. So, for those that aren't aware, "Running Up That Hill" by Kate Bush was a song back in the '80s. Was not a famous song in the '80s. A very indie type song. Kate Bush was not well known, but season 4 of Stranger Things comes out, and they insert this song at a, I'm going to say, pivotal moment in the show, in the series, or sorry, in the season.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, Kate Bush skyrockets. I mean, like, this has been 35 years ish since this song came out, and it skyrockets back to the top of the Billboard Top 100 list. Goes crazy. Everyone now, this song has made a huge resurgence in the last 4 months or so. Early this summer when it came out, just July when the season came out. So yeah, that's where a lot of people know the song from. It's Stranger Things, but it originally came out. Kate Bush originally released it back in the '80s. So when Sarah James sang this, I thought it made sense. Stranger Things coming out. It's a very popular show. This song's a very popular song now. A lot of kids and young adults are just finding this song for the first time. I thought it was a really good fit for her. Very, very interesting type song. Jay, I would suggest you go find this song on Spotify and listen to it. The way that Sarah James sings it, a little bit different than how Kate Bush sang it. Not a lot different, but just slightly. She did give it her own. So I'd recommend going and finding and listening to it. But I really like.
Cody, is there a place that you could point me towards, maybe to see this song and all the other songs on America's Got Talent?
Very good point. Yes, that's a very good question, Jay. I'm glad you asked that. So we have a Spotify playlist that I put together of the songs that are sung on AGT. I've been putting it together since. I need to go back and put it in the songs that are sung in the auditions. So yes, Running Up That Hill. Probably by the end of this live stream, I haven't had a chance at it yet. If you want, you can go check out that Spotify playlist. I did tweet it out after last week's episode with Sarah. Hope you listened to that podcast, Jay.
Yeah.
And then I will tweet it out again this week. Good. And then I'll also add it to the show notes for this week's podcast. So yes, please go check out our playlist. It has all the I'm gonna say original songs that we're saying on AGT this year.
All right. Very good. All right. So that was her performance. Simon says, I love this. Anyone who has to follow that probably should just go home. However, you've come out and nailed you came out and nailed the most iconic song in the world. What a special night for you. You've given yourself a shot. Yeah, I was in the dark on this. I did not know that it was the most iconic song in the world right now.
Yeah, it's really made a resurgence since Stranger Things came out back in the summertime.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, it's a thing about me and pop culture. Like, we just don't really overlap a lot somehow. In the Venn diagrams, we're non-overlapping circles. All right. Howie says, a lot of people have given themselves a shot. You are perfection and beautiful, talented, and far more than a 14-year-old. I think you're going to be here in America, tasting chicken in America a lot more. Referring back to her video package where she tries chicken wings. It's not just that she's never had chicken before, Howie. Heidi says, you sound like a seasoned pro.
Sorry, Jay. That was a very weird interaction between. I know she talked about eating chicken during her package, and so then I tweeted out, it's only on AGT can you find someone from Poland and a Canadian talking about eating American chicken.
Yeah, it's all right. Chicken wings. Heidi says, you sound like a seasoned pro and newness around you. I think you're one of our greatest discoveries this season. Sophia says, it's not just your voice. I think your presence on the stage makes you a star. So who she is, not just her skills, but her persona, what the aura, the it factor about her is what the judges loved so much. Calvin has notes about her. and he has her ranked clear down at number 10. Ooh,
Wow.
Calvin says, Sarah James, I'm probably in the minority, but she didn't sound the greatest in the song, and I didn't love the arrangement. Still not bad, but not. There's things that, that Calvin liked more. And Minnesota Ryan has her ranked at number 8. So both of them were outside of the top 10 as well. Says, maybe I'm alone in this opinion. Maybe not that alone, Minnesota Ryan. Have you met Calvin? He says, maybe I'm not alone in this opinion. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe I'm alone in this opinion, but I thought this was Sarah's worst performance of the season. She is obviously an incredibly talented singer, hit some amazing notes, but I thought this song didn't quite make her stand out, and at times seemed out of her range. She has pop star potential, but I think her creativity got to her got her into the finals, might have hurt her tonight. Just my opinion though. Music taste is so subjective, which is such a true thing.
Yeah, I had her at number 6. So was it Ryan kind of split the difference between me and Calvin? Um,
Yeah,
or did I have that backwards? No,
yeah.
okay, good. I had that right. Yep.
Eighth and 10th and 6th. So all three of you had her outside of the top 5 anyhow.
Yes. I mean, I enjoyed the performance. I thought it was really good, but she is a cover singer. I thought this was a great song for her. I thought it really fit her. But being a cover singer, you still got, you got Drake Milligan and you got Chapel Hart still out there.
Yeah.
So just where I kind of put her.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. Sarah James is going to be eliminated from the competition concurrent with Avery Dixon, our saxophone player. Both of these are golden buzzers, so kind of surprised that they were eliminated side by side like that. Avery Dixon, he's awfully enjoyable, I think, as a saxophone player. I had him. Let's see, where did he perform? Number 7th on the night. He's gonna play "Ain't Nobody" by Rufus and Shaka Khan. He's gonna start on the tenor saxophone. He's gonna switch to the alto saxophone in the middle. He's got a real live band surrounded by him or surrounding him, and some backing singers. So that's kind of fun. Like he's got soul for miles, right? He's got talent. He's having some really impressive runs, some beautiful high notes that, he's obviously got a very refined embouchure that he is able to hit those notes consistently, beautifully. Similar to some of these other acts where like it's just really hard to win the show as a instrumentalist.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever had an instrumentalist win the show. We've had, but I guess similar to a.
Yeah, we've had a
To a magician that
sentimentalist, but never. We've had a sentimentalist on the show, but they haven't won the show.
Right. There
Yeah.
you go. All right. So, an instrument player, it's going to be really hard. But
Yes.
he does an awfully good job of connecting with us and the audience emotionally and kind of bringing us along on his ride. Did you have
Yes.
any other thoughts on Avery?
Yeah, well, let me get my thoughts. So I enjoyed this act. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love the band. He is fantastic. He is a great saxophonist. I feel that being a saxophonist, though, kind of like what you said, is that it's hard to compete with some of the other performances. Some of the other performances are more exciting. I'll be honest, I didn't really recognize this song. I know Shaka Khan and who was Rufus? Is that you said it was Rufus and Shaka Khan?
Yep.
So the only Rufus that I know is from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, so I don't think that was the same Rufus. But I'm familiar with Shaka Khan, but I just didn't recognize this song. It was fun. It was really enjoyable, but I just feel that it's hard to the other ones. I put him at number 8. I know that's pretty low, but I do think he is a great saxophonist. I think he's going to do really, really well for himself.
Calvin also had him outside of the top 10, just outside of the top 10, or top 5 rather, at number 6.
Okay.
He says, I really liked his performance. The fact that he used both tenor and alto saxophone sounded amazing. Minnesota Ryan has him, wow. Minnesota Ryan has him at number 2. He says, it physically hurts me to have him number 2 for the first time in any of my rankings this season, but when it comes to the best overall act, there's one act that deserves it more. While he put on a wonderful performance, he set the bar so high in his qualifier that even his casual greatness just didn't reach his expectations. He's still phenomenal, and you will always be my guy, Avery. Come to Minnesota. Really high praise from Minnesota Ryan there.
Minnesota Ryan's been high on Avery all season. Has you had him at 1 on his list, so like you said, it pains him to put him at number 2, just because that drops him out of that top spot. So whoever he's got number 1 must really love them this week.
Yeah,
Fan of Avery Dixon.
Yeah. He's again a very talented saxophone player. Really enjoyed having him on the screen. I would agree that his qualifier was better than his final. The final, he kind of does a little bit more like more for the to show off every single talent that I have, and a little less like showmanship, a little less like stage, drawing us in, and sometimes you have to do less to show us more.
Yeah.
And this was just more.
Yeah.
Sophia says, Avery, every time I listen, I get relaxed and I want to have a drink. And he says, then have a drink. She says, there's something about you that makes us all love you. There is something special. Simon says, I saw how excited you were for the final. You've got that look in your eye. And that was like 3 minutes at your concert. You controlled the stage, the tempo, the track, the whole thing, and the change in instruments. You really, really nailed it. Heidi says, you took all the roadblocks. You made your own path, and it's working. You should be so proud of yourself. So, golly, awfully high praise from the judges as well. Okay, so that puts us, we've got our top 5 then. The top 5 were revealed in this order. We've got Drake Milligan, Metaphysic, Christy Sellers, The Mayas, and Chapel Hart. So those were the top 5 acts. There were some surprises, I would say, in those top 5.
Okay.
3 of them I felt like definitely deserved to be there. 2 of them I felt less sure about, I'll say, and we'll get more into that. But I guess we'll just keep clicking our way up here, huh, Cody?
Yeah. Ahead of schedule. Usually we drag this out much longer. I think there's just a lot of adrenaline running through us tonight. A lot of excitement for us. We again, for those of you just tuning in, we just watched the results ago. It's a lot of this is fresh on our mind. We're real excited to kind of talk about it. I know it doesn't sound like a typical podcast for those of you that listen in, but it is different. It's a finale.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we are down to the top 5 then, Cody. I just listed them off here, and in 5th place is a group that going into the performance episode on Tuesday, I thought they had a real legitimate chance at winning the whole show. They didn't have a great performance on Tuesday night. They're going to end up in 5th place. We're talking about Chapel Hart. What's your initial thought on Chapel Hart before I kind of dig into their act itself, their performance?
So I'm with you. I think they were one of the top acts that had a legitimate chance to win the show. I thought that I really enjoyed them. They were number one choice on my team. They're the heart of my team, so I really wanted them to do well. They got all the praise from Dolly, and I know one of the judges or Terry said Tanya Tucker, and it's actually Tanya Tucker. So I just want to make sure Terry's aware of that. So yeah, if you want to kind of get into the performance, it's going to be interesting to talk about this.
Okay, well, they're going to sing an original song called "American Pride," and the lead singer, she's going to struggle, and I'm not sure if the key is too low for her voice. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if she's just extra emotional tonight.
yeah,
I'm not sure if they can't hear their backing track well, but it was just kind of bad throughout. The
yeah,
harmonies were off. When the other two ladies would sing, it felt off. There's just the whole song long is like, oh, cringe a little bit. Oh, cringe a little bit. And it was just, I felt so bad for him because I know that they're so much better than this performance. And I think that their body of work is what put them in the top five. I'm not sure that this song in itself would have even gotten them into the live shows.
it's very possible. Simon was real high on this particular song. I thought it was a fun song. I you that off, and it could have been any or all of the reasons that you mentioned. The lead singer sounded pitchy. It almost like she didn't feel well. Just her voice sounded different. Um, it could be a number of any number of things of why she was off. They were still fun to watch. They're still exciting. They're a great trio. I loved having they had a band behind them, right? They had a band.
Hmm.
Um, an original song. They actually sang another original song. They didn't repeat any of their songs.
Yes,
So
yes,
that
that's
that
praiseworthy.
yes, that's praiseworthy. So that adds points because if you're gonna release an album, you got to sing more songs.
Gotta do more
So
than two.
that's right. So yeah, them. I think they had an off night, but you can't have an off night in your Super Bowl. You've
Yeah.
got to you've got to play as strong as you did the rest of the season. And unfortunately, they had an off night, and I really hate to see that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, the chorus of their song, I got the lyrics down here, says, "I know that we can do it. Hold hands and step aside. Let love pour out between us. Move the hate and let's just try. I believe we'll make a difference, one person at a time. Come on now, I can feel it. My American pride." Really, just a great sentiment. I do love America. I do love that we are a melting pot of different people that look different, that have different talents, that we all have a place here. America is built on people coming to America, and I'm just so so pleased that we have such a diverse set of people that make up America, and making a difference one person at a time is I have pride in what America is and what America can be. So, a really just a fantastic sentiment from them. Um, Sophia says, "There's something about you girls that makes everyone excited. It's so heartfelt, and we're happy to have you here." Simon says, "If this had been the audition, I'd stop you and tell you to go back to the chorus, do it a cappella so I can hear the lyric and the melody because it was beautiful. What a beautiful message to send out after 9/11, the most important night of your life. I love hearing people like you sing about how much you love your country. Some of the vocals were off because of nerves, but forget that. I like you, and I'm really happy with what you did tonight." Howie says, "I agree that some of the vocals were off, maybe because of emotions or pressure. I think America is going to like that song, but your last two songs were 10 times better." And then I do love, I just made a note here. Terry says, "How do you guys feel after that performance?" And they said, "We feel seen," which I think is a really nice sentiment from them. So,
Yeah,
not maybe wonderful, they're not fainting with praise for them, but they found some nice things to say.
yeah. I thought I misheard Simon. I think I misheard Simon when he was talking about them doing the song a cappella, and I thought he was telling them go back and sing it a cappella, like he wanted to do the second chance option during the
Yep.
finals performance. That's what I really thought he would do, and I'm like, do we have time for this, Simon? So
I
it's
don't,
like,
yeah. It's pretty scripted down to the second here.
Yes.
Calvin has them ranked number 9 on the night. He says, I really, really, really like Chapel Heart, but this performance wasn't great. The
Yeah.
vocals were a little off. The song wasn't the best. Still wishing the best. I will be listening to more of their music. So, Calvin, you found a fan in Calvin, Chapel Heart. And let's see, Minnesota Ryan is going to have them down at number 11.
Yeah.
The song's well written, has a good message. The performance was off from the start. The girls have had a good run. They really didn't live up to the moment in this performance. This was their worst act of the season, in my opinion. I wish them the best of luck, though, because I like them as people a lot. And I think that's really how I feel. I like them. I like them other nights. This one just missed the mark.
Yeah, I had them at number 9 as well. Again, I really enjoy them. I thought even though they didn't sound great, the performance was still better than the Magicians. If I had a few extra bucks and they were in town, I'd probably go see them. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, did you say where you had them ranked, Cody?
I had them at number 9.
At number 9. Okay.
Yeah, right above the Magicians.
So,
yeah.
Right above. Okay, both the Magicians and then Chapel Heart.
Yep.
Okay, so fifth place goes to Chapel Heart. Fourth place is going to a group that I was hoping didn't even make the top 5. I don't enjoy this act as much as many people in America. We're talking about Metaphysic.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they did more than just, I guess, give us visuals of the judges singing. We got the judges singing again. This time it was Simon and Sophia and Heidi. But we also get a Elvis impersonator who's going to look like Elvis on the stage. They're going to sing a couple of Elvis songs here. Let me get my notes pulled up so that I can tell you which ones they were. Here we go. It was The Devil in Disguise, You're the Devil in Disguise, and Hound Dog. So he started with Hound Dog. Well, I guess he started with speaking a little bit, and it was very like deadpan, very dry.
Yeah.
Like, thank you very much. Like,
yeah, speaking Elvis did not sound like Elvis. And at first, when he was talking, when he was doing the speaking part, I was like, "This is not good." The singer, the Elvis impersonator. So, yeah, this was an Elvis impersonator. Was it the Elvis impersonator that we had at the beginning of the season? Like, didn't we have someone as an Elvis impersonator come out and audition at the beginning of the season?
I don't remember if that was this or if that was back in our season 4 rewatch, Cody. That was a while ago.
That is true. It'd have been great if we had, one of them, whoever it was, come back and do that. That would have been exciting. But he did not sound like Elvis when he was talking. Now, when he got to the singing part, it sounded pretty good. Not the talking.
It makes me wonder if there is limits to what their technology can do as far as like expressing emotion, right? Can if I'm like, thank you very much, right? If I have big face and big emotion, can the AI do that? Can we deep fake big emotion like that? Or is that just beyond what they're capable of doing right now?
I would anticipate that AI can do whatever facial expressions that a human can do. Smiles and eyebrow raises and frowns and all that type stuff. I would assume it can do that. It's making all the movements that the person is making. The only limitation is the amount of detail they can put. And they talked about that in their package, that the faces have more detail now than they did back in their audition.
Yeah.
So they did improve on that. But I would say that if you're yelling or if you're raising your eyebrows or you're smiling, when they're singing, they're open their mouths and they're doing all kinds of different expressions. I would guess that it's mimicking that pretty
Yeah.
well.
Well, so either the technology wasn't able to do it and they coached him not to, or he just didn't do a good job of introducing the act because it just kind of felt flat from the beginning. They're gonna sing. We've got Hound Dog. We've got You're the Devil in Disguise. Daniel Emmett's gonna come in there as Simon. Like I mentioned, we've got Sophia and Heidi in the background now. I didn't feel like Sophia and Heidi were very good. Like they kind of fell in that. Are you familiar with the phrase "uncanny valley"?
I'm not sure I
Okay.
know what it means.
It's like when you have things that are trying to look human but don't look human. There's this revulsion by people, right? I pulled this off the Wikipedia page. It says the uncanny valley hypothesis suggests that humanoid objects that imperfectly resemble actual human beings provoke uncanny or strangely familiar feelings of uneasiness and revulsion in observers. So if it's made to look human, but it's not, and I remember, I think I first learned about this in the Polar Express, how
Yeah,
the characters, like the AI, like they just felt humany, but not human. It just felt off.
yeah,
So that's kind of what I'm getting here is like it felt like they're stiff or they couldn't move quite the way that they wanted to or are supposed to. Just some things were off. Like I'm not yet convinced that the faces that I'm seeing on the screen are actually the judges because it still looks like computer technology trying to do it.
yeah. I'm trying to remember the movie it was. I think it might have been Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. That might have been it, but I, I may be off on that. If anyone knows, let me know. But anyway,
All right.
they're in a computer generated world, and there's this scene where they have to go and interact with some of these older type of video games or movies, and it's similar to that where it's the Polar Express, and he comes out, but he has no facial expressions. He just looks no matter. He's always looking like straight ahead. He's supposed to be looking at you as or at the characters, but he's actually just looking straight ahead. Uh, so that might be very similar to what you're talking about, or exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Let's talk about judges' comments. Heidi says, "Can we talk about how good I was? I was amazing. It was great to see the King of Pop again, and also Elvis." A joke about Simon being the King of Pop. This was my absolute favorite act of the night. Ugh, I I don't understand
I
this.
I know you don't understand it, Jay, and we forgive you for that. But
Okay, it's it's yeah, it's uncanny.
yeah,
Sophia says, I did amazing, but not as amazing as Heidi. I think this is so much fun when you come to the show. It's so different. The range of acts makes it so hard. Simon says, let's remember what this night is all about. It's about winning and the money, but more importantly, it's about Vegas. This is probably the most incredible original act we've ever had on the show. You're going to have your own show in Vegas. There's no question. And Howie says, I will say what Billy Crystal would say. You look marvelous. So I don't know. Weird, interesting judges' comments on that one. Calvin is going to have metaphysics ranked number 7 outside of the top 5. He says, while the technology is still impressive, I don't think it looked as good as before. Elvis kept looking in weird directions, and the girls didn't look perfect. Daniel Emmett and the other singers may be the best part of the act. So it's
yeah, I
like the
could.
singers are the best part, not the technology. Ooh.
Well, but the technology is the talent. I mean, they're bringing in different singers, and so the only thing that stays
They're
consistent are the
bringing in Daniel
two.
Emmett every time.
Well, but they have other singers that come in as well. But also, and I think we've talked about this before. You could bring in anybody. You could bring in any singer, put them in front of the camera, but it's the programmers. It's like Light Balance and I Illuminate. It's those types of acts where you can bring in singers, you can bring in dancers, you can bring in singers, but what people see is what the programmers are doing. Developing the light show. You had the dancers, obviously, but I would say you can bring in anybody to dance. But the talent is putting the lights on them. The talent for this is creating the deep fake, whatever image you want, whatever person you want to appear on the screen. That's where the show is.
All right. Okay.
You really could bring in one singer, and they could do 6 different singers, and you would have a show. You would just throw 6 different
I
faces.
feel like having one impressionist.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see. One impressionist with the AI that changes their look into that person while they do that a comedy routine about that person.
Right.
Now we're going to do this impression and we're going to change into that person. I feel like that is where this needs to go.
Yes.
And again, I don't know if the technology's not there yet, if they just didn't have that creative spark in them or something. There's things that they could do that I would like this more. It just is where we're at here. So
yeah.
Okay. Minnesota Ryan said, can I give Minnesota Ryan's comment real quick?
No, absolutely. I insist.
Minnesota Ryan had him in the top 5 at number 5 exactly.
Okay.
This ranking doesn't necessarily have to do with their actual finale performance, but instead it has to do with the potential of their act succeeding beyond the show. This is really nothing like them out there, and if they can continue to reproduce music legends and celebrity impersonations, they won't have trouble finding an audience. Their audition is still their best act of the season, but this was the second. So Minnesota Ryan sees potential here. I think I also see potential here. I also see not a winning act.
Okay. Yeah. So. Again, that's why we love this show, Jay, because it brings so much different variety. There's so many different things that people like and things people don't like. We could have tons of conversations about this, and we could go on and on and on. And I love it. That's why I love this show. That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Okay, so Cody, there are 3 acts left in the competition. We have eliminated.
Hold on. I got them at number 3.
Oh yes. Okay, number 3, top 5 then.
Yes.
One off of their actual play, so pretty good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, are we ready to talk third place?
We're getting into it, Jay. We're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Okay. I'm thrilled that we've got these 3 acts, and I'll just I'll say them in alphabetical order. We've got Drake Milligan.
Okay.
We've got Christy Sellers, and we've got Mayas on the stage. So
okay.
I don't want to ruin it for anybody who didn't watch it, right?
Okay.
So we've got Drake.
Wait. You don't want to ruin it, but yet we're recapping it and we're giving them the result.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Just, hold your pants. Hold on to your Mr. Pants.
Yes, there you go. Good job. Good call back.
All right. Drake Milligan, Christy Sellers, Mayas. I'm feeling like any one of these 3 could win. Any one of these 3 could be second. Any one of these 3 could be third. It feels like a really wide open race, and that's exciting. I'm just like the anticipation at this point is what I tune in for. I love it.
One of the things that they say in auto racing is the competition is so close you could throw a blanket over them.
Yeah, a blanket race, right?
Yes.
So third place, Cody, is going to go to Drake Milligan. He has sung 2 songs on the show already. Both of them skyrocketed to number 1 after his performance night. This time, he's going to sing an original song in the finale. In fact, It's the original song that he did for his audition. It's a song called "Sounds Like Something I Do."
And that does sound like something
Sing a
he would
song
do.
I already sang. Sounds like something I'd do. Uh,
Oh, I love it, Jay.
it, he's got a awfully good sound. Like if you
He
like
does.
country rock,
Yeah.
if you like that deep baritone voice, man, he just knocks it out of the park. He's
Yes.
very, very good.
Yes.
I like I said, I thought he had a legitimate chance at winning the whole show.
Yes.
Clear up until Terry announced he was third place. I thought he had a legitimate chance at winning the show.
Yes.
He is in his performance. It's going to be a lot like his audition. He's got the band there on the stage with him. He is going to, in the middle of the song, run out to the judges' table, kind of stand on this little platform there in front of the judges for a chorus. There's confetti, there's dancing, there's singing. It's everything you expect from Drake. He is, he's good at what he does, and it's obvious that he's good at what he does. And I think that he is going to. He was already a rising star. This is going to catapult him into the stratosphere, win, lose, or draw. This has been a really good thing for Drake in his career, but he was already moving in that direction.
Yeah, he absolutely was. He's now going to be a superstar. It's inevitable. It's going to happen, which is a little surprising why he decided to sing the same song he did in auditions. And he announced during the show that he had a new album coming out. If you've got a
Yeah.
new album coming out, why aren't you singing a song from that album?
Makes you wonder.
I mean, oh, hey, we have an album coming out, and this song that I just sang is coming from that album. Go check it out.
Yeah, you'd think. No, I don't know. He's awfully likable all the way
Yeah.
around. He's handsome, but not too handsome. He's just got a really great air about him. Really comfortable country, country style about him. I'm okay with him in third place. And like we've said about other people who already have some kind of recognition in the world, if being on America's Got Talent is good for your career, then be on America's Got Talent. I don't
Yeah.
see any reason why you should be eliminated because you're already producing music, because you're already doing your talent professionally. If this is good for you, if it's good to be on the stage, then welcome to the stage. That's how I say it.
Yeah, it's a new era. I'm not gonna say it's a new era. I guess it is a new era. It's a new era, Jay, that we're in where AGT is bringing in people that already have contracts, record deals. They're touring. They've been on TV. They were in comedy movies back in the 80s. They were on ESPN Classic for a short period of time. So, I think we're just going to start seeing more and more of that. It's great that we have people that are unknown, like Christy Sellers and Celia Munoz, and who else do we got? We got
for what it's worth, Cody, Celia won Spain's Got Talent. Christy Sellers won Australia's Got Talent. They're both already Got Talent champions.
True. Okay.
But they're also both homegrown talent. So
yes. Yeah, but I mean, like, they're not on TV. Like, we didn't know we didn't know who they were, right?
No.
Yeah. So, Metaphysic AI, there's not many places you can go to get famous doing deep fakes. Mikey Winfield, I'm not sure what he was doing before this other than the comedy circuit. So Avery Dixon, what was he? Right? He was broke.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like you. I am drawn to the unique talents, the new things that we've never seen before, the people we've never met before. Those are what I find myself voting for first. But that doesn't mean that the other acts don't belong.
Right.
And if it's good for you, then welcome to the show. Calvin is going to have Drake ranked number 2. Drake is what Lily Miola is to AGT commenter. Drake is to me what Lily Miola is to AGT commenter. He would have been my number one if it weren't for the fact that he did the same song again.
Yes,
He Detroit Youth Choired himself right in the foot.
he did. Yeah,
That's my side comment.
At least he didn't Russian bar trio himself.
Ah, yes. Better to Detroit Youth Choir yourself than Russian Bar Trio yourself. Am I right?
That is true, yes. Or was it Ryan and what's her name, and shoot yourself in the neck?
Yeah. No flaming arrows to the neck.
That's right.
I kind of felt like never mind. We won't go there. Okay. He goes on. He says, I don't really mind it too much, the same song again. I don't mind it too much since I really liked the song and he did a lot of different stuff with it. This performance, he's my favorite act of the season, not just of the night. So he had him ranked number 2, and it's his favorite act of the season. Would have been number 1 if it weren't for the same song.
Yep.
Minnesota Ryan is going to have Drake Milligan ranked number 10, outside of the top 5. He's got okay, here's Minnesota Ryan. Drake, why did you do this to me? This act was my biggest disappointment of the night. What made Drake special was that he kept surprising us with new top-tier original country songs while performing them better and better each time he hit the stage. The literal worst thing that I would have said he could do in the finals is to re-perform one of the songs he already performed and then not even perform it better than his audition. For me, in this performance, he lost everything that made him special and almost became stale. In other words, 67% of Drake, his special this season has been one song. 67% of Drake this season has been one song. The only reason he isn't in my rankings is that his 2 songs are good country songs. Sorry for my rant, but this was a tough way to end a good night for me. So it really disappointed Minnesota Ryan.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Drake was high on my list all season. He's on my team. I was really looking forward to it. He's an exciting singer. He's got the full band. I thought he was actually going to win this season. He was in that last slot, which is usually like the winning slot of the night. Everyone was saying that hey, he was last, or he was in the last slot, so that AGT was priming him to win the season. But then you go and you sing the same song in your auditions. Knocked a lot of points for me. I put him at number 5.
Number 5. So you still had him in the top 5.
Yeah.
And yeah, the talent is there.
Yes.
This is a questionable choice, right? If you can do 2 songs and end up 3rd place on America's Got Talent, there's maybe some problems here.
I was supposed to say you can do 2 songs and get 2nd place, because Detroit Youth Choir did 3 songs. We did the same song twice. They probably did 3 or 4 different songs, and they got 2nd place.
Right.
So I'm hoping this is not a trend where singers come on and notice they can do Parmesan cheese every single round and get in the top 5.
Well, maybe you just have to not be embarrassed about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right. That is Drake Milligan. He was 3rd place. We are down to our top 2 then. We've got Christy Sellers and the Mayas.
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat here, Cody.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Jay. So what are your thoughts as you're watching these results and things are whittling down, and there's obviously we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, but we'll get to it. We'll get to your experience. Teaser alert: we're going to hear Jay's experience at the show. But Christy's in the finals. The results are now. She's in the top 5. More results are coming. She's now in the top 3, and she's not in the top 2. What's going through your mind? What's happening at the Bach household as this is all happening?
Both my kids are in bed, so all the screaming is internal.
Okay.
But I'm looking at these 2 acts. We've got the Mayas, which are a dance act. Dance acts traditionally do well, but don't win. It's
Yeah.
really hard to be a winning dance act. Um, but the Mayas, like, they kind of transcend like just a dance act. There's something more. So it's like, I'm like, they could be winners, but they might not. But they kind of feel like they're already crowned the winners. But like they still like. I'm making all the arguments for why they could and why they couldn't. I'm looking at Christy Sellers. Like, a one individual is going to connect with you so much better than a group of individuals, right? There's the emotional connection.
Yep.
There's the fact that the pole artistry is like the third thing about her act, right? It's the creativity, it's the strength, it's the storytelling, and it's also done on a pole. Like, it's the pole dancing is maybe what started it all, but it's not what it's all about. And it's like, it's such a just all around amazing act. And I'm like, but on the other hand, we've got the Mayas here that are such a precision act. I just don't know which one it's going to be. So I I could make an argument for both. I was on the edge of my seat. I was really excited. Um, Nervous isn't the right word. Proud. I know that
Yes.
Christy's going to be, this is going to launch her, catapult her, shoot
Yep.
her, to the moon. Um, and she's going to take this experience and whatever it is that she does with this, she's going to be doing it in new Kia anyhow. So, because Kia is going to give a card of both first and second place, they said. So,
Not like in
no,
season one. It's not like in season one where two of them have to share the car, right?
right. Yeah, no,
Okay.
that didn't
Okay.
happen. So, yeah, I'm all over the place.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for asking, because I did not know which way it was going to go. Like I said, I was making arguments both ways. I was hoping it was what I think I can call my friend Christy Sellers
Yeah.
was going to win the show. Uh, but I guess, Cody, they announce second place is going to go to Christy Sellers.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we've talked to Ryan Niemiller, and we've talked to some others, and they've actually thought that being second or third place is a pretty good deal. I
Oh,
mean it's not a bad gig to get second or third place on America's Got Talent.
yes. If she wants a show in Vegas, I think that that's there.
Yeah,
And I don't want to spoil too much of next week's podcast, but we had lots of opportunities to chat with Christy while I was out in Pasadena. I sat with her after the results show, and we were talking about what do you envision this becoming? How do you see this going? And she's already past her, I think, physical prime as a young woman. She's a mother of three. Um, like, she knows some aerial lists, and she knows aerial performance, right? She does the hoop and the silks and that stuff. Uh, she knows. She has visions of how to create this immersive theater, using the silk. She has a vision of how to do immersive theater using dancers on the floor. She has a vision on how to do all of this. And I'm picturing a marquee that says, Christy Sellers presents immersive theater. And she may, perform one act or part of it, or just have her name on it and be sort of the creative drive behind this immersive theater thing that she's created. Um, and if she wins, like, it's her name, it's Christy Sellers that is doing the thing. Um, but if she can take this, kind of this talent, this vision, this creativity that she has bubbling up inside of her, and bring other people on board and make a show out of that, all yeah, the world is at her fingertips.
yeah, that's a good teaser. We'll kind of get into more of that next week. as we kind of talk about. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes after we finish the recaps. But that's a real good kind of explanation of kind of that she's already looking at kind of the next phase of her career.
Yeah, she said
Yeah,
that she's been reached out to by uh, different people for different reasons. Different opportunities are already coming to her. She's going to be,
good.
uh, I think, traveling around the U.S. already this summer. She's got some things booked, uh, up off into the future. So
Yeah, good.
wherever she goes, whatever she does, it's really cool. So,
Fantastic. Yeah,
shall we talk about her actual
yeah.
performance, Cody?
Let's absolutely talk about her performance. Yeah,
Okay, we're going to start on the stage. She's got the shadow kind of behind her, projected up on the screen behind her. It actually looks like her live shadow, but it turns out that it's not. And she starts to interact with the shadow a little bit. The shadow kind of pushes her down, draws her into a box that she can't escape out of. She's going to fight back out against the box. He's going to bust out of it. The scene is going to change to kind of this dark mountain with 4 paths up, and the paths are labeled courage, fear, anxiety, and doubt. And she's going to like punch the ground like a superhero, cause this earthquake. The fear, anxiety, and doubt signs, those paths are going to fall away. So she's left with the courage path that she is going to start to climb to the top of the mountain. So she's going to use the pole to climb, and as she's climbing, the scenery is going to move underneath her, so it looks as if she's like actually climbing this mountain. It's going to slip out from underneath her. She's going to end up like upside down on the pole, and then she's able to right herself upright by doing the thing where like she takes the steps in the air but doesn't move her feet as she's the last foot stays where it is. So like it sort of moves the whole thing around her as she moves herself to upright again. She's going to right herself, and it's going to do the thing where she I guess she's whatever, and ends up back on the ground here. That's not the big fall part. The background's going to change to this ladder that she's going to try to climb like a rope ladder, but she's unable to reach it. She's unable to climb it. All of a sudden, there's this tornado that spins her around the pole, and it impedes her ability to climb up the ladder. She eventually does capture the ladder. She climbs up the pole. She actually has one hand on the pole and another one on the rig that like supports her 2 poles that she performs on. She's going to, from there, fall back towards the stage. And this is the part where the scenery rises as she falls, so it looks like she falls extra far. It's that cool effect that she always does. Now it appears to be like in a library. She does her costume change. Now we've got multiple costumes on. And
he's a quick change artist
costume,
now, Jay.
It took a lesson from Leah Kyle, I think.
There you go.
So she goes with the costume change, and so now we've got like LEDs that change color on her top and bottom with the background as that changes colors as she does some more maybe classic pole tricks on the poles. And it's gonna then reveal like all of a sudden this dark scary mountain that we saw earlier. The light is going to come on, and in the daylight we're going to see like it's totally a less scary like just house on a hill, and it in fact looks like kind of a beautiful summery springtime just thing that you want to it's not scary at all, right? So the shadow shows up again, turns out to be more friend than foe. She sort of takes this light from her shadow, not sure exactly what it's representing, but it sort of takes this light and runs it out to the judges, and the floor lights up underneath her like a golden path. There's a lot of imagery in here. You can interpret it how you will, but something about not being afraid of the dark, things not appearing what they always appear. That taking that path of courage, even when it's hard, whatever it is, that's all that is tied up in there. I thought it was a really, really fantastic performance, and just so fun to see it done by somebody that I got to know a little bit. So Before we talk judges' comments and our other comments, what did you think of Christy?
I really, really, really enjoyed this. She talked that in your interview with her, she talked that she was going to be doing something for her daughter. This seemed, as you're describing it, something that would she would be telling, stories that she would be telling her daughter about, don't be afraid of the dark, and whatever it may be. But yes, I could absolutely see how this performance would relate to a type of story that she would tell her daughter. Uh, Amazing, amazing imagery, such accuracy between herself, the pole, and the projection. The graphics are just amazing. Um, I can't believe this is something that we're actually watching. We've seen others do something very similar to this. I think what she's doing though is top notch, um, consummate pro. Seems like she's doing it for a long time. Absolutely loves doing it. It's just it's almost words that you can't put into what she puts into this performance,
Yeah.
and the fact that she had a week to do it or less than a week to do it to put this together. Now
Yeah.
we're guessing that she already had this kind of put together. She just had to tweak it. Um, I was watching.
When I
I
chatted
was,
with her last week, she said that it was not yet finished. She had
okay,
uh, the groundwork laid, but there was a
okay,
lot of work to be done. And she
okay.
says for every minute of production is like 100 hours
I
of
could see it.
100 man hours
Yes.
to go into it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and you talk about Metaphysic AI, the work that they have to put into it. She has a designer as well and an animator, right? So this animator has to draw all of these. He has to compile it all. It has to render. So there's just so much computing power that goes into this, very similar to what goes into Metaphysic AI. She was
hmm
talking on. I was watching her Instagram live this morning, Wednesday morning, and some people were asking her questions. And one of the things she talked about was she does things in beats, and her animator does things in time. And so they have to figure out how to sync those two things up so that she moves at the right time when the uh, projection moves. So
I
it's that type of thing that
only
they have to work out.
I only perform to music at 60 beats per minute, or 90 beats per minute, or 120 beats per minute. Is that?
Yes. So
There you go.
yeah.
No, that's fantastic. So yeah, it really is kind of cool. And she didn't do much with the floor projection this time.
Yes. Yeah.
Last time she interacted with the floor a little bit more, but this time it was a little bit less. But she was talking about how like she doesn't have a floor projection, so she had to kind
Right.
of get out her tape measure and say this is where I think my foot is going to be at this point in the song, at this point in the production. So figure it out.
Yeah. She's mentioned that she only has a just a regular projector, right? That she uses
Yeah.
for
Yep.
practice.
Yep. Howie, well, we can also say this: she was the first act of the night, the
Yes.
very first act of the night, which
Yes.
is a stinky spot to perform from. It
Yes.
does let her set the bar, but it also, by the end of a 2 hour show, that was a long time ago.
Yes. Yeah. I tweeted that out
Uh,
that she was the first act of the night. Traditionally, that's not the spot you want to be in. And I said, I hope she breaks that tradition. And it looks like she may have. I'm not going to say breaks it, but she overcame that tradition.
yeah, yeah. I'm really pleased that she was able to find second place out of all that work that she put into it. Howie says, "OMG, that was wow, authentic perfection. I think the noise says it all. This is the most high-powered finale we've ever had, and you set the bar, vertical, and it's a pull. You are the one to beat tonight." As after the first act, she's the one to beat. Heidi says you're such a great storyteller and have such admiration because you're a mom and you follow your dreams and you let us all be part of your dreams because it feels into your dream. It's stunning. Sophia says every time you get better and better. You show us something even more amazing than last time. It's going to be hard for America because we have so many good talents, but you are one of the best. And then Simon says, sitting here thinking, what do I say? Because I've never seen anything like this before. What you did was astonishing. The fact you created the content, you told the story, you were great, then you went to incredible, and now you've gone to amazing. This is what the final's all about. We have the best of the best. You are the one to beat, and it'll be tough to follow this. So, I mean, just really high praise from the judges through and through. Cody, what do you think of the great, incredible, amazing scale? Is that something we need to incorporate into the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, we could incorporate that. We could incorporate the great, amazing, you're gonna win, best of the night. We could start. Yes, we could definitely start incorporating that into the scale.
I do feel like incredible really should be higher than amazing, but I'm
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. You went from great to incredible to amazing. Like, okay, that's a weird scale.
Maybe.
All right,
Hey,
so
since that was Howie that said that.
no, that was Simon.
Okay. Well, still, anyway, maybe that's the metric version.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
that's the metric. Calvin had Christy Sellers ranked third. I really love this act. The video's design, the dancing, the timing is all amazing. One of the most unique acts of the season and would be really great in Vegas. I can't wait to see more from her. Minnesota Ryan had her ranked number 3 after Avery Dixon. Says, what an amazing moment for Christy. Best performance for her in the biggest moment with the least amount of time to prepare and had to be the first of the night. That's true greatness right there. So Minnesota Ryan recognizing how wonderful Christy Sellers is.
I number 2. I did have her number 1 for most of the until the last act of the night. So I did have her at the top all night long.
All night long.
Yeah.
So you ended up with Drake in your number 1 spot, is that right?
No, I had Drake at my number 5, I think.
Well, Drake was the last act of the night, wasn't he?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought the Mayas were. So no, I had the Mayas
that was
number
the
1.
qualifier round. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is worth pointing out, though. Mayas and Christy Sellers were the 2 acts that went through on qualifiers 5, and
Yes.
they were the final 2 acts in the finale night. So,
Yeah.
Cause and effect. I don't know if they were just in the hardest night of the qualifiers, or if there's something, recency bias. You're like, yeah, I voted for them last week. I'm voting for them again this week. Hard to say for sure, but
Yeah.
Maybe all of the above.
Yeah.
All right, so that means Cody first.
Yeah. So anyway, I just had her number 2. Just to recap that.
Okay, number 2. So first place then goes to the Mayas. They are sharp. They're deserving. They're very good. I had them. Let's see. They were the 6th act of the night. We're going to start with one woman kind of at top of this pyramid of women. It looks like sort of this giant, flowery, feathery wedding dress, or sometimes people will make a birthday cake. You stick a Barbie in the top of it, and you decorate this whole dress out around them. It's kind of that look to it. Then the dress kind of dances a little bit, and we see that all the other Mayas are underneath there with these feather things that they use as the props. They're not the feathers have some flop to them, right? So it's really hard to be really precise, like is kind of their ticket, kind of what they do. But they still do some really neat effects with these feathers. As the music plays, they are able to, I guess, create their effects there. They have the feathers leave the stage. We end up with a line of 12 of the Mayas down the middle. They do the line of Mayas down the middle of the stage, where you only see ones behind the one in the very front. Each one is going to be holding an LED ball in each of their hands. I don't know, Cody, if they got this LED technology from M++. Don't steal my joke.
No, I was going to actually say, did they Victor Key themselves?
Oh, okay. Well, I stepped on my own joke then.
No, that's okay. I messed you up. I messed up your joke. So you think they got it from M++?
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think the LED balls were from M++ technology that they stole.
I can go with that. Yep.
All right. The other dancers are going to join them on the stage. They're going to end up in like 5 rows of dancers doing the crazy arm thing. They kind of move all together into a group. There's like one dancer facing away from the crowd that's kind of doing some whatever dance moves. Does sort of a Kenichi Aniba move where she goes from standing to like putting her head on the floor, and then she lays down, and then she reverses it and stands all the way back up. Doesn't use her hands to lay down or stand up. Kind of a cool move. I always love seeing that flexibility and strength and creativity in it all. I didn't feel like there was much story here, and I'm looking for being nitpicky. I didn't feel like there was a lot of story, but you can't say that they're not good. Like they're really precise. They're really clean. It's really, really good. I'm okay with them as winners. I think that they're a fan favorite for a reason.
Yeah, they are a fan favorite. I've seen lots of people respond saying they love the Mayas. It's a great group of girls. They have a wonderful story. Sarah and I talked about them quite a bit last week. She was really impressed with the Mayas, understandably so. So it's a really great winner choice. I'm so happy to see something like this win. It wasn't another singer. It wasn't a not very good magician. I think any one of these top 3, as we've said, could have won. I think any of the top 5, other than maybe Chapel Hart, I'd have been okay if they'd won. They didn't have a great night, but they've had a great season. Yeah. So it's that. Yeah. Do you look at the body of work, or do you look at the most recent performance to determine what should happen? If you look at the body of work, Drake Milligan was great as well. So I hate to say this, Jay, I think we had a pretty good finale. I wasn't totally disappointed except for the 2 magicians. I thought it was a good variety, and then I'm going to say a variety. I mean, they're a dance act, but I think they're still kind of a variety act as well. They incorporate all these different things. They did the little serpent, the Slytherin thing last week. This week they did like some swans. It's very creative. It's so precise. It's so unique. You talked about dance acts don't do very well. We had The Unbeatable. They got second, right? And then they won champions. So, if we see a good dance act, I think we're going to vote for a good dance act. I did vote for both the Mayas and Christy Sellers. For last night, I kind of debated. Actually, Jay, I'll have to admit, I woke up about 10 minutes before the end of voting this morning and voted. Completely forgot last night to do it. It was so late here. So I voted for both of them because I would have been ecstatic if they were the top 2. I think I was just trying to get, of course, Christy Sellers as high as possible because she deserved it, and I thought the Mayas deserved it as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, I voted for both of them. I gave them the max points. Real excited to see these 2 in the top. These 2 in the top 2 acts. I think Mayas are going to represent AGT really well. I think I can't wait to I know AGT commenters not been real high on this season, but I'd be interested to see or hear from him where he has the Mayas on in his rankings.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Sophia says, there is nothing I can say because you are the best thing that's been on the AGT stage. This is so spectacular, another level. Heidi says, this is what $1 million act looks like. A game every time. A plus. You brought your A game every time. Okay. All right. Simon says, this was astonishing. Something has happened. I'm beginning to feel a buzz beyond the show. This has landed. I don't think you can top that. Howie says, winner, winner, chicken dinner. This is my favorite act ever on AGT. It's great for you, women, empowerment, and your culture. And so, like, it's pretty high. I will also say this, like, there are a lot of Maya fans in the audience.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, if each all 36 of them give, 10 tickets to friends and family, like, that's 360 people. Like, that's 10% of the audience. Like, it's a huge percentage.
Yeah.
And you saw all the Lebanese flags and the Lebanese, all the signs and all the stuff out there in the audience. So, yeah, it's no surprise that they were the in-house favorite. It's no surprise that they got the crowd just really, riled up and really just totally on their side. I think the judges react to that from the crowd. I think it's sort of a self-feeding thing. Not to take anything away from them, because the judges, like, they gave some really high praise, and I agree with it. They're very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to kind of transition to that, Jay. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of say this. So next week's podcast, Jay, I went and saw AGT Vegas live, and like just on Sunday. And then, of course, Jay was in the audience last week for Qualifiers 5. So next week's podcast, we're going to recap our experiences for both of those. And so Jay's going to talk, about meeting Christy and watching the live show and, what the audience was like and seeing the back of Howie's head and, all that type stuff. And then I'm going to talk about my experience at AGT Vegas Live and seeing all the acts that I saw. So just kind of be ready for that next week. It's very interesting, kind of teaser on my part. I saw an act that was in this season. So it'll be interesting to kind of hear who that is. Yeah, so we'll just kind of talk about that. And so, you'll talk about seeing the Mayas, because you saw the Mayas and you saw Christy Sellers, and then, of course, the other acts during that show as well. So you had firsthand experience on seeing the Mayas.
Yes, I did, and I will talk a little bit more about that next week. I want to talk about what Calvin told us.
Okay.
He says he had them ranked number 1. He says the act deserves to be in Vegas.
Yep.
In my opinion, this is the best dance group the show has had. While I want Drake to win, I would feel wrong not to put them this high. So number 1 is where they belong for him. Similarly, Minnesota Ryan has them ranked number 1. While I believe their qualifier performance was their best performance this season, they certainly didn't disappoint. They have everything that a winner should have and never put out a single bad performance. In my opinion, they deserve this to win the show more than anyone, and they would be my favorite winner since I started watching AGT if they did. So Minnesota Ryan's got a new favorite winner.
Yeah, I also had them at number 1, and I'm going to say, Jay, that after going and seeing a live Vegas show, it gives me kind of a new perspective on, how I think that kind of biased my vote a little bit, but I think that now that I've got that experience of going and seeing Vegas, these performers in Vegas, then it makes me think, okay, what type of performance do I want to see in Vegas? So I'm going to vote for an act that I want to go see do it in person in a Vegas show. And I think this and Christy Sellers would definitely be acts that I would love to go see in a Vegas show. And I think deservedly should be in a Vegas show.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, one of the things that we love about the show is that everybody can vote on the act that they like for whatever reason they like it.
Yep.
Do you want to vote on the body of the work? Do you want to vote on the most recent performance? Do you want to vote on who you want to see in Vegas? Do you want to vote on who you like against who you don't like. Whatever the reason, I like them as people. I like their story. I want success for them in life, not necessarily, them doing this performance, this act. So, all those things are what makes the show great. We all have our own life experiences, our own things that make us like things, better than others for whatever reasons. So, all that to say, Cody, it's been a really fun season. Do you want to step back for a second and talk about the results show, the guests that we had on the show?
Yeah, so let's just quickly kind of go through that.
All right, here's how it went. Results show. Black Eyed Peas, sing a song. I don't even know what a Black Eyed Pea is.
You don't know Fergie and the Black Eyed Peas and Will I Am?
Oh, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I saw them on the Super Bowl halftime show.
Have you ever eaten
stuffing my face full of chicken wings?
Have you ever eaten at a restaurant called the Black Eyed Pea?
No, I did not know that existed.
So here in the, I was going to say here in the South, mainly in Texas, there's a restaurant called the Black Eyed Pea, and they just serve country style Southern type food. It was one of our favorite places to go eat dinner or eat lunch after church on Sunday.
All right, there you go. Like a buffet kind of thing.
No, it's sit down.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas. They sing a song. Light Balance is going to dance. You remember Light Balance? It's like Light Balance Kids.
But with adults.
Yeah, but with adults. Yeah. So
okay,
it's probably better.
Yeah.
Right, because they're adults. Get a nice long recap of last night's show, like we do. Chat with the judges. Simon says this is the best finale he's ever seen. We visit the Sonic Lounge. AGT's biggest fan, Henry Winkler, is going to come out and introduce Nicholas Ribbs, Yu Ho Jin, and Shin Lim. They're going to do some card tricks.
It's kind of cool to see the Fonz on there. I didn't know he was AGT's biggest fan.
I mean, like, I'm trying to make an argument for myself, but
I know. It's like
so be it. All right.
Hey, when we can get leather jackets and motorcycle and jump sharks, then we can be the biggest fan, right?
Okay. All right. That's fair. I'll work on that.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna do some music. We got John Party and Drake Milligan. They're gonna sing a song together. I don't even know what a John Party is, but it has anything to do with celebrating toilets. I'm not sure I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever listened to John Party. I have some friends that are big John Party fans. I've never listened to him.
All right. Yeah, John Party. Sounds like something you might do in college.
Yes.
some regretful days.
Do a bunch of Johns get together and do a celebration?
Well, I thought it took place in the bathroom, but
okay. I just figured it was be a bunch of guys named John.
All right. Okay. Chapel Hart's going to join him on stage. We're switching the song. Let's give him something to talk about. This performance was better than last night's performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Darius Rucker is going to join Chapel Hart on stage. If you think of a black country singer, like he's kind of the one that comes to mind. So he's a great option to join Chapel Hart. I love that. We're growing this niche, right? And that's wonderful. So
yeah.
John and Drake are going to join Chapel Hart and Darius on the stage to finish out the song.
So
enjoyable enough. It's classic AGT finale stuff.
He didn't come out and sing Hootie songs?
No, he went for the country
okay.
stuff.
Sure.
All right, Mikey Winfield is going to come out next. He's going to talk about how Simon doesn't really do a good job of judging comedians, and he plays this reel of Simon buzzing comedians and saying discouraging things to comedians. So he says, tonight we're going to roast Simon, and he's going to introduce Don McMillan. Don McMillan is going to say, I've went back through and I've charted some of Simon's likes and dislikes. Number 1 dislike, PowerPoints. Number 2 dislike, shape. He always has stubble on his face. Number 3 dislike, Parmesan cheese. Number 4, clowns. And last but not least, or I guess, and the thing that he likes the least is falling off of a bike. And then we switch to likes. The things that he likes the most is himself.
Yeah, I actually think he likes falling off the bike because he's done it twice now.
Well, I'd imagine that the result is something that has changed his life a little bit. So maybe he's not too high on it. All right. He goes on to say, if you told me 20 years ago that I'd be on national TV roasting Simon, I'd say, I can't believe Simon's still on TV. I thought that was pretty good. That was a good joke.
Yeah.
All right. Don McMillan's going to have a seat. We're going to introduce Mr. Pants. Mr. Pants is going to come out. He says the socks are coming off tonight. And then he takes some socks off of his hands. Talks about how Simon is actually just like us. He puts his pants on one. Well, he says his assistant puts his pants on him one leg at a time. And he says, as a pair of pants, I can tell you I spend a lot of time around old farts. So I thought that was man, I didn't know how many more pants jokes he had, but he pulled out the old farts joke. I thought that was an awfully good one.
How did he not make it to the finals?
Well, he's a pair of pants, Cody. Lacey Larrabee is going to come out and roast Simon. She's going to say Simon loves his 4 dogs because they're the only 4 bees that can't talk back. And then Mike E. Winfield is going to introduce roast master Jeff Ross. He says, how is it possible that you're more crotchety than Mr. Pants? So we get done roasting Simon. We are going to come back to Celia Munez. She's going to sing do her performance, singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow after she turns to it on her little radio while she brushes her teeth. Out comes Darcy Lynn to sing with her, and then Terry Fader joins them. So we've got all 3 fantastic ventriloquists on the stage here. I enjoyed this quite a bit. What do you think of Celia?
Yeah, so I'll have to admit, Jay, this was about the time of the show where I have to go get some dinner. So
fair enough. Well, we can yada over the judges going to the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios.
Yeah, I missed that whole roasting of the judges part, which I'll have to go back and watch now because that actually sounds like something that I would enjoy. I think I came back right at the end of the Halloween Horror Nights.
Okay, yeah, I think you would enjoy that. So after Halloween Horror, we got Christy Sellers and the Mayas. They're going to do a dance.
Yes.
Christy's. It's going to start with Christy's second performance, where she's sort of that bookend, and she comes to life and draws the thing into the book. Mm-hmm. The Mayas come out. They do the glowing orbs thing. They clear out. Christy spins on the pole a couple times. They all pose together at the end.
It was very short. It wasn't long enough.
Yeah, and it's hard to what are they supposed to do? I thought maybe they would have, Black Eyed Peas, go stand on the edge of the stage and sing a song while Christie's and the Mayas did, whatever, a different thing. But yeah, it's just sort of a weird kind of mashup thing that they.
Yeah,
maybe you got to find something for them to do in the finale.
They could have done a Christy Sellers Don McMillan mashup where he puts his graphs up on her projection.
I love it. She can interact with the Venn diagrams.
That's right.
The whisker plots and I love it. All right. Okay, Terry starts to say a thing after commercial break, but Heidi interrupts him and says that we're going to watch the best moments of Terry Crews this season. So that happened. Howie says he's the consummate host and the consummate human being. We get a duet with Avery Dixon and Trombone Shorty. I liked this. I was trying to blow through and catch up with the episode because I was kind of time shifted and I had a different thing going on. So I was, I blew through it. This is one that I want to go back and kind of sit and enjoy a little bit more.
Yeah. It was really good. I enjoyed it. Kind of having the two of them together. I'm not familiar with Trombone Shorty. It seems like an oxymoron because usually trombone players are tall. So maybe it's a.
Like a trombone is a long instrument, like
right.
by.
But Right, but also trombonists are usually tall people in order to, because they gotta have long arms. So maybe it's
I
one
don't
of
have to be
those.
that tall.
Maybe Shorty is like of course it's obviously a nickname, but Shorty, he's called Shorty because he's really tall. I don't know.
Like calling a fat guy tiny, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. They duet. I'm gonna go back and watch that later. We get a recap of the whole season. We go auditions. We go through the qualifier rounds because we had to fill 2 hours. Now Sarah James and Black Eyed Peas are going to sing a song. So that happened. We get to watch the acts talk to loved ones through like hologram technology. That was interesting.
Did you notice
Uh,
that there was a person missing from that segment?
who I
Christy
wasn't paying that
Sellers.
close of
Christy
attention.
Sellers
All
wasn't
right.
in that segment.
Okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess maybe because
yeah.
all of her loved ones might be with her.
Well, not all of them. She had
Okay.
room room to offer tickets to
Oh,
us,
that's true.
Cody.
That's true.
So
Yep. Okay.
and she's more lovable than just 7 people. I promise you.
Fair enough. Yeah. I could understand that.
All right. But yeah, the hologram technology was interesting. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah.
And then Terry announces that Kia is going to give the winner and the runner-up each a car.
Okay.
So
Nice.
cars for Christy and the Mayas. I don't think it's big enough to hold all of them, though.
Yeah. They need like a bus, right?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
a few. Yeah. Okay.
So the Mayas do
So
have to
anyhow,
share. So the Mayas do have to share a car.
yeah. I don't know how else you do it.
I guess so.
But there you go. All right, Cody, that was the results episode in a very disjointed way to do it, but there you go. Um, that kind of puts a pin on the season here. We will be back in another week to talk about our experiences, your AGT Vegas live, me live AGT in Pasadena. You know, I will say this, Cody. After last week, when she found out she was going to the finals, she still had, tickets available to gift to us if we wanted to go. And I said, yeah, I just really can't justify taking another week off work and another, taking the time away from my family. I really do need to be home. But she said, well, if I was there with my dad said, yeah, I'd love to come back. So my dad and my mom are in Pasadena, enjoying the live results in the
How
theater
exciting.
tonight. So
How exciting.
I will, I'll look forward to talking to them here before we come back together, and I will,
Okay.
be able to relay some of their experiences and some of the stuff that they saw live as well.
Awesome. I do real quick on right at the end of the result. People comment, and this kind of made sense, that for the final two, they didn't show any clips for them. Normally, in the previous seasons, we've seen, their journey throughout the season. I guess with just auditions and qualifiers, there wasn't much of a journey this time. But
not much journey.
Nope. Don't stop believing, Jay.
It's a very short road.
That's right. So it was kind of interesting to see that. It was almost like, hey, here's the final two, and now here's the winner. Just kind of getting that out there. But yeah, so I'm real excited to kind of hear your parents' experience for the results. Was it just results, or did they go the performance too?
They went to the performance last night and the results tonight.
Today. Okay, so they went to both. Okay, so I'm real excited to kind of hear their experience from that as well. So again, Jay and I'll be back next week. So it's kind of just preview what's going to happen in the near future. So again, Jay and I'll be back next week. We're going to recap both of our individual live experiences that we had for AGT, and then we're going to get right back into season 4 after that.
Okay, we've got some work to do, Cody. No rest for the weary.
No rest for the weary. So no rest for the weary. And then also, Commenter and I will be back throughout the off season. We've got some rewatchables lined up. We've already got guests lined up. Some real exciting stuff for rewatchables. Jay, if I can figure it out, you want to have guests on for some season 4, season 5 stuff?
Sure, why not? Let's start to grow this little thing a little bit.
Absolutely. Also, we're I don't know if I want to say this. We're trying to get Christy on to talk with us for a little bit, just to kind of, I know she's kind of got a lot going on right now. There's probably a lot of logistic stuff she's having to take care of. So so as soon as we can, we're gonna have Christy on to kind of just talk to her for a little bit. So stay tuned for that. We'll try to get that as soon as we can. But that kind of wraps up, puts a bow on. Just Jake, real quick. Now that the season's over, we've gone through our new format. I don't know, maybe we can kind of put a pin in this and talk about it next week. But just the season as a whole. Now that we've gone through our new format with the auditions, there was no Vegas week or judge cuts, or then we had all that. Do we want to kind of talk about that, or you want to come back to it?
Let's. I mean, I can say something about it.
Okay.
I feel like 3 performances is not enough.
Agreed. Yeah.
For comedians to ingratiate themselves to people watching, right?
Yes.
We need more.
Yep.
To really fully see what acts range, what they have, more is going to be better. And as we narrow it down, there's acts that we're going to see that it's like, oh, that's I'm kind of done with that. We can move on now. Or like, oh, I'm liking this more and more and more as I get to know the act, as I start to know what to expect. I feel like we're just working with just limited information when we have only 2 performances before the finals.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to be interested in more. More is better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my initial thought, and I don't need to say more about it right now, but
yeah,
I'm happy to say that much.
I agree, and we can come back to it later. That I agree with you that I want to see more performances out of great acts. I want to see more acts. I think Simon was trying to go more with things being exciting and brutal. The only 2 going to the finals from each round. Oh, it's getting more intense and things are getting more brutal. I don't want that. I really don't. I want to see these acts go through a journey. I want to see them more. I want to see them advance. I want to see them grow from round to round. Like when we saw Terry Fator, we knew Terry Fator was going to win season 2. But as he moved throughout the season, I got to see his journey and how he improved. I was like, okay, I'm starting to see it now, how he eventually became the winner. Because, the auditions in those first couple rounds, I didn't think were great. He did enough to move on to the next round. And then all of a sudden, it's like, he came to that last turn there at the Kentucky Derby and just took off. That's what I want to see from my AGT acts. I don't want it to be brutal. I want this to be an entertainment show where I get to see them perform.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Drake Milligan had to do a 4th performance?
Well, he would just do his qualifier song again.
Well, sounds like something he'd do.
Good job. So that's going to put a bow on season 17. Everyone, thank you. I want to thank everyone that has tuned in. Jay, we have gained so many listeners this season. We gained more Twitter followers this season, more interactions. You went to a live show. I got to go see a performance in Vegas. So much is happening with our podcast. I think, but it's because of our listeners. Our listeners are letting us do this. The acts are reaching out to us, Jay, and that's so exciting for us. I'm trying to kind of still stay, humble and down to earth about this, but I'm so excited of everything that's happening with our podcast. It's been a long road, It's been a journey for us. Don't stop believing. Thank you, everyone that has found us this season, that's tuned in. Please stick around. Tell your friends. We're going to be doing some old school AGT. We're going to, if you've been curious about some older acts that we've referenced older acts, and you're curious about, stick around. We're going to be covering those.
Yeah.
So we want you to keep in touch. But as for season 17, that's going to kind of put a bow on it. If you got any questions for us about our experience next week, go ahead and send those to us. We'll try our best to answer them when we talk about it next week. But that's kind of going to end it for season 17, Jay.
It's been a fun one, Cody. I agree with you. Thank you to all the listeners. It's a fun hobby that we get to enjoy together, but it's you guys that are really what that's why we put it out in the world. So reach out if you have questions for us. We are here. We're excited about what this off season is going to bring. Hopefully we can offer some really great off season content, continue to grow this little project that we got going here, Cody.
Yep, absolutely. So everyone out there, thank you very much and have a great night.
Stay safe.